Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another episode of the IMDB Files. And for those who don't know what that is, I'm going to put the playlist down below in my past installments of that. I take a random year and I look at what the lowest films on IMDb for that year happens to be. And on the playlist so far, I have had the lowest rated films in 1983, 1985 that I did with Mike, 1989, 1990, 1991, 1993, 1996, 1997, 1998, and 2006. I picked in a random year. And this is for Sawney Beane. The reason being, A, he sent me nice stuff in the past. Also, he generously sent me, when I did the last stream, a super chat, he sent me $10. And he didn't have to do that. And I'm like, well, fuck, is there anything I can do? He's like, hey, how about another IMDb Files? Is not how I usually do it. Usually you would see the actual IMDb webpage, but I was using Camtasia for that, and that's the program I was using when I was talking to my friend Mike when my computer first had the blue screen to death. So I'm a bit leery of using Camtasia. I actually took that off my computer. So you're just going to have to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link down below. Feel free to click on it and you can scroll through it with me. And sadly, you just have to look at this not quite smooth face. So, 1995, figure why not? I did 93, I did 96, why not 95? So what do we have? We have a film called Werewolf, where it looks like a kind of shitty Photoshop. Unscrupulous archaeologists tried to take advantage of an outbreak of lycanthropy, prompted by the discovery of a werewolf skeleton in the Arizona desert, with Richard Lynch, who I enjoy as the bad guy in Invasion USA. You tell Rostov it's time to die. Over 3,000 votes, so that means over 3,000 people have seen this movie. And it has a 1.7 on IMDb. I'm surprised over 3,000 people have seen that movie. I'm clicking to see if there's any info on it, trivia-wise. I just saw the tagline. It says, Rest in Beast. Really? Really? Rest in Beast. That's your fucking tagline. Rest in Beast. Is the beast in heat? I do a little bit of steet. Director Tony Zarandas used stock footage for the car wreck that he had purchased before the shoot. In an attempt to make the footage match with the car used for the shoot, he had the car painted the matching color of the stock footage car. Still, it's obvious that the car is a Ford Taurus and the car on the wreck is a Plymouth Acclaim. Star Jorge Rivero was never paid what he was promised for his work on this film. This is the last non-union American production he has worked on. To help keep the film on schedule and on budget, actors R.C. Bates, Joe Estevez, and Richard Lynch performed their own stunts. Cheap-ass motherfucking production. We have Compelling Evidence, which also gets a 1.7, with Brigitte Nielsen, Red Sonja herself, and Dana Plato. Wow, Dana Plato, who unfortunately passed away. Did of course, the TV show she was on with What was that game she was into? I think it was the controversial one. I fucking know the game. God damn it. I mean, obviously she was on the TV show Different Strokes, but what was it? Night Trap? That's what it was. She was the star of that Sega CD game Night Trap that caused so much controversy. Rich Stone is the world's biggest action star, but unfortunately he is also the prime suspect in his wife's death. He must enlist the help of a conniving tabloid reporter named Dana Fields. Compelling evidence. Who the fuck is Danny Fenley? Who I guess is the male biggest action star. Oh, of course, 1995. I just puked in my mouth because it's Howling New Moon Rising. I ranted on that film. Not once, but twice. That is one of the worst films I've ever seen. I'm not even joking. 1.8 is too high. 0.8 would be too high. 1.8 sounds like alcohol. Which maybe that's what the people who made this fucking film, they were drunk. If they weren't high on drugs, they were drunk when they made it. Because that movie, a number of brutal werewolf-like slayings began occurring in a small California town after the arrival of an unfamiliar motorcyclist. No, it's a guy coming in. No one can act worth his spit. This lawn shit about Pappy's chili, and you got dirt in Pappy's chili. Literally a sequence where people go out and they fart because of the chili. A lot of square dancing. Literally, people in the Western clothes and the shitty country music dancing in the square. I don't like fucking square dancing. There's only a handful of country songs I like, and none of them are in this fucking flick. You don't see a werewolf until the end of the film for 10 seconds, and it's one of the shittiest effects you'll see. It's insanely fucking boring. It literally is one of the worst fucking movies I have seen. If you think I'm lying, please see the movie for yourself. I fucking double dare you. And you know what? I'm going to see if there's any fucking trivia for this movie. Because... And two directors, Clive Turner and Roger Knoll. Two directors. Two. Not just one, two. So it takes two people to make a piece of shit that big? It is the only Halloween film that has been released on DVD in the US. Yeah, I know. Person sent it to me over overseas DVD or something, or DVD-R. It features archive footage from Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Despite the fact the film states based on the novels of Halloween 1, 2, and 3, the film is in no way based on any of those novels. Yep. All the townsfolk use their real name in the film. Clive Turner's third time acting, writing, and producing in a Howling film after 4 and 5. I'm not big on Howling 5 The Rebirth, but it's a masterpiece compared to this, let alone Howling 4. The original idea by the director Clive Turner was to make the film entirely out of footage from Howling 4, 5, and 6. The idea was only half used in the final film in the form of flashbacks. Make the entire film out of footage. The one time Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, half of the movie did that, but that's when you have to have someone special like Eric Freeman. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Are you sure, Doc? Garbage day. What are you doing? You have to have a guy like that to make it work. And that's why I can watch that film and enjoy it. And this film has nobody like that in it. Roger Noll was the actual director of Howling the Moon Rising, but Clive Turner kept telling him what to do, so it became his film, and Turner's name replaced Noll on the directing credits. But why the fuck was Roger Noll there if he just kept being told what to do? Let's see, you have a film called The Misery Brothers with Leo Rossi? Leo Rossi from Maniac Cop 2 and Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. He did like a bunch of these movies called Relentless, which I've only seen the first one. The others are hard to find to watch. But he did like 4 of them. He was in all 4 of them. Grimm. That's a bad fucking movie, Grimm. Team of spelunkers investigate a system of caves beneath a small town. Come across a hideous creature that can move through walls. I don't remember the moving through the walls bits. I remember it being really cheap looking, really slow, god-awful acting, budget that looked like it cost $7.72, and most of it was probably for cake or something. And I first saw it because I like monsters. Monsters in a cave, okay, cool. Before The Descent. Ain't no Descent. Yeah. If you think the cover sucks, then believe me, the movie sucks worse. If you like that cover, the cover's the best part of the fucking movie. American Flatulators. American Flatulators. And for some reason, it says it's animation, even though the picture is live action on the cover. Ah, the sweet smell of competition. Why the this is 54 minutes long. And yet for some reason it's put into animation category. Computer animation. But the cover, I guess this was on Red Letter Media, Best of the Worst, Wheel of the Worst, number 6 in 2014. I guess. It is mentioned and discussed. Also, videotapes and footage of the movie are shown. Edited into General Chaos, uncensored animation in 1998. Okay. Taken Alive. Oh, okay. I haven't seen this movie, but I know what this movie is. Taken Alive. With this goofy ass fucking cover. Well, people are like, fuck, we're in this movie. Oh my god. They look like they're ready to die. They're like, ah, and the girl's like, ah, give up this fucking movie. The reason I remember this, I remember the trailer. I've never seen the movie, I remember the trailer. Because the trailer, you can probably still find this on YouTube. Taken Alive, 1995 trailer. Arnold Schwarzenegger narrated the trailer. You're going to have a lot of fun. I can never do an Arnold impression. But like, you're going to have a lot of fun with my friend Franco Columbo's Taken Alive. Just his buddy Franco Columbo's in it, so he did, I'm sure, as a favor. And that's just the craziest thing. This piece of shit, 2.2 out of 10. And this is like after doing films like Terminator 2 and True Lies. And like right after True Lies came out in 94. And he's narrating a trailer for his buddy for this film, Taken Alive. Just go on YouTube, type in Taken Alive 1995 trailer, and maybe even add an Arnold in there. It's fucking insane. Oh, okay, we get a big one here. Theodore Rex. Theodore Rex. Whoopi Goldberg buddy cop movie with a animatronic dinosaur that's about her size, who loves cookies. Put the cookie down. Yeah. 2.4 for 2.4 out of 10 IMDb. Yeah, it's a pretty awful movie. I'm looking up the trivia because I remember the trivia for this being interesting. This was a long time ago. My friend Mike and I were doing these box office bombs, and he still has some on his channel. And this is one of them. I don't know if that one's still up on his channel, but I remember we talked about it. Crew members left constantly during production. Whoopi Goldberg once said that on her final day of shooting, 99% of the crew was different from the first day. Theodore Rex was originally intended for a theatrical release, but the movie tested poorly with older test audiences. So the studio released it straight to video in the US, where it can make more money in the lucrative kids video market. Since the movie was completed on its original theatrical studio budget, it became the most expensive straight-to-video film ever at the time of its release. It was released theatrically in Germany, Spain, France, Japan, Portugal, UK, and South Africa. Whoopi Goldberg wanted to leave the film during the production. Just like with that one film, The Telephone. She didn't want to leave production. She tried to sue for it not to get released. And that's a bad movie, too. Whoopi Goldberg made a verbal agreement to star in the film in 1993. When she tried to back out, producer Richard Gilbert Abramson sued her for $20 million. The suit was settled very quickly when Goldberg agreed to star for $7 million, $2 million more than the original agreement. Most of the actors signed on thinking the dinosaur would be computer enhanced. I guess because it's 1995, you had seen films like Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, of course. No, it wasn't the case. The director retired after this film. He felt the studio didn't market it correctly. Yeah, because marketing is the only problem with that movie. The idea alone made it fail. A buddy cop movie with a person and a dinosaur. Unless it's a balls-out R-rated shit where the dinosaur rips people's heads off or bites arms off, no, it's not going to work. Even that would be a tough sell, but a kid's PG buddy cop film would be like, what? Really? I don't know what the... Some of these are probably not going to go in depth in case I ever do fucking review them in the future. But fuck, man. Something called Sacrifice of the White Goddess. Shot on video homage to Mondo movies, an archaeology student joins forces with a roguish trader to follow an ancient Mayan treasure map in search of gold. Only they called her some harsh shit. With a lot of cheap-looking skulls on the cover. We got Backfire. Robert Mitchum, Kathy Ireland, and Telly Savalas? What the fuck? This gets a 2.5. Like Robert Mitchum and Telly Savalas? These are like some really... Just as Jeremy Jackson attempts to become the first male firewoman in New York... Wait. The first male firewoman? What the fuck does that even... The first male firewoman? What the fuck does that even mean? Fires began mysteriously erupting from toilets all over the city, and Mark Marshall is called in to investigate. From the start, Jeremy is heckled and sexually harassed by his tough-as-nails female cohorts, including his instructor, the hard-boiled Lieutenant Shithouse. Jessica, Jeremy's old flame and the mayor's very personal assistant, rekindles the fire in his eyes and between his thighs. Jeremy discovers trace jet fuel at the fire sites and soon becomes hot on the trail of the most evil man and his diabolical scheme. In the tradition of Naked Gun, Backfire spoofs Backdraft. I like Backdraft. I know my friend Mike, that's like one of his favorite movies, so Mike, OCP, if you watch this, I expect a review of Backfire, a spoof of Backdraft, Lieutenant Shithouse. And it was Telly Savalas' last film. For those who don't even know, Telly Savalas, he played the original Kojak on TV. Shelley Winters was in this as well? What the fuck? How the hell did they get all these people? Do they have like incriminating photos? Alien Terminator, which is a 2.5. Alien, so it's not Alien, it's not Terminator, it's Alien Terminator. Alien Predator. A small group of scientists are working in self-imposed isolation below the Earth's surface. They're all working to create DNA which could change the world. But one of the scientists have been given a secret assignment, and when the assignment goes wrong, all hell breaks loose. The new creation is now aboard the ship and will destroy anyone who gets in its way as it moves towards the surface. And then there's another plot synopsis. It unleashes a nearly immortal organism, one capable of instant regeneration with an insatiable appetite for living flesh. Soon nothing can contain the creature. The lab's life support system is quickly shutting down. The scientists grimly prepare for their final battle. No, it's definitely not the fucking box office. Alien Terminator. Mira Mira 3. Who the fuck saw Mira Mira 1? Let alone 3 Mira Mira movies. For all I know, there's a 4th one. Now that I said that, should check real quick. There is a 4! In 2000, called Mira Mira 4 Reflection. Of all the movies that did not get sequels, we didn't get a sequel. We don't get a sequel to Dread. We don't get Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. We don't get Cobra 2, Tango and Cash 2. Hell, even a Split Second 2. I Come in Peace 2. Fucking. Oh my fucking god. Shoot 'em Up 2. Fucking. I already said Dread 2. Hardcore Henry 2. In some type of way. No, we get fucking 4 Mirror Mirror movies. 4. I guess. Is there a 5? Is there a Mirror Mirror 5? No. Just 4. Apparently. There's another movie called Mirror Mirror, but has nothing to do with it. I mean, there's a couple other movies called Mirror Mirror, but has nothing to do with it. 4 Mirror Mirror movies. And apparently this Mirror Mirror 3, it has Billy Drago, who was the bad guy in Delta Force 2. If you look up that guy's face, he's been in a lot of movies, Billy Drago. David Naughton from American Wolf in London, and a young Mark Ruffalo. This is what it says here. A young Mark Ruffalo. So from Mirror Mirror 3 The Voyeur to playing the Hulk. And the Marvel Universe stuff. After Edward Norton, of course. 4 movies. Some of these are like, there's Gladiator. I mean, and if you're wondering, that gets a 2.6. And I probably Alien Terminator 2.5, Backfire 2.5, and Theodore Rex 2.4. Mirror Mirror 3. And there's 4 Mirror Mirror movies. I don't know anyone that's seen one. Dead Stop. A young journalist tries to small town serial killer when suddenly his girlfriend becomes the most recent victim and he becomes the prime suspect. Wow, that doesn't sound generic at all, does it? Galapsis. Brigitte Nielsen, Richard Ball from Night Court. Galapsis. Droid Gunner, aka Cyberzone. I've seen this movie, man. You know how you watch so many bad movies that some of them immediately empty from your brain? This is one of them. I know Mark Senior from Watchers 2, the Beastmaster films. He starred in it. Also Matthias Hughes, who's the villain in I Come in Peace. And I know Mark Hamill. He's supposed to track down these 4 androids, like female androids that are smuggled to Earth. It's directed by Fred Olen Ray, who is definitely not the best director. In fact, if I had a top 10 worst directors, Fred Olen Ray would be on there. Who else? I don't know. Uwe Boll would be on there. Olivier Megaton would be on there. Michael Bay, no. If it was producers, he'd be the top of the list as worst producer because he produced those shitty Ninja Turtle movies. But, yeah. Cyberzone, aka Droid Gunner. And the reason I'm skipping some is that I want to try to get to as many as I can of these lower rated ones. Revenge Quest. It takes place in 2031 in LA following the escape of a dangerous inmate from the fictitious Red Rock prison on Mars. Oh shit. It's the Revenge Quest. Midnight Tease 2. What the fuck is Midnight Tease 1? What is these sequels to film no one's fucking seen? Who the fuck saw Midnight Tease? Jacko. Jacko. My friend Michael CP, he saw Jacko. Or like Jerk Off. Jerking Off would be more fun than watching that movie. I've seen that film once before. I think there was a long time ago. I mean, I know nowadays I don't have Netflix just for various reasons, which I'm not going to get into. But back in the day, I had Netflix for a little bit. In like 2009, 2010, 2011, like somewhere around there. Because this weird thing happened where randomly I got messaged by some woman that I guess was trying to start a YouTube channel or some kind of channel. She asked me, hey, I'll pay you to rip certain scenes from DVDs that I'm going to send you via Netflix. And then with, since I also had the ability to, with Netflix, I sent some movies of my own to check out too. And one of them was Jacko. And from what I remember, and by the way, to finish up that story, she I don't know what happened to her. I don't even remember her name. But like, yeah, I would send her the footage. She's like, okay. And then I don't know what the hell happened to her. I don't think I ever saw the channel. But she would pay me quite a bit of money for it, which surprised me. But I'm like, okay, to rip footage. And that's when I knew how to rip footage from a DVD. At least, I mean, I had the right equipment at the time. But into this movie, if I remember correctly, I swear this is the movie where the commentary track, it was, I think, the director and the producer. And one person got so pissed at the other that he walked out of the commentary track. Because the other guy keeps making fun of the movie. I think the producer, it might have been Fred Olin Ray or someone, but it was someone, producer making fun of the movie a bit too much, and the director got pissed and left. I think later he came back, but it's like the only, well, the second walkout in audio commentary history. No, it's the first. That was the first one of two. The second was Bill Pullman on Serpent the Rainbow because I gotta go do this movie, this piece of shit called Independence Day 2. So the second half of the commentary is fucking nothing. Like I ranked on my Blu-ray review of that movie. You only have him for half the commentary and he leaves. Bullshit. But yeah, Jacko. Linear quickly worked on the film for only 3 days. Yeah, here it is. And the DVD commentary, Steve Latshaw and producer Fred Olin Ray have a lot of tension and hostility. It's pretty obvious that there is some bad blood between them. Yeah, I mean, that commentary is, you can tell these guys fucking hate each other. Fred Olin Ray's making fun of the movie. The director's not liking it, that he's doing that. And just makes you know, why the fuck are they there together in the first place? And it gets a 2.9 on IMDb. This is, what? I was looking at the plot synopsis. A long, long time ago, a wizard was put to death, but he swore vengeance on the townsfolk that did him in, particularly Arthur Kelly's family. Arthur had done the final graces on him when he came back to life as Mr. Jack the Pumpkin Man. The Kellys proliferated through the years, and when some devil-may-care teens accidentally unleash Jacko, young Sean Kelly must stop him somehow as the suburban world is accosted and the attrition rate climbs. Ed Sutton. And there's a second synopsis. In Halloween, three friends seek an ancient cemetery in the suburb for fun and remove a cross from a tomb where Jacko was buried many years ago by the farmer Arthur Kelly. The evil creature is unleashed, kills the trio, and seeks the descendants of the Kelly family for revenge. Why is it so shady? Just everything's dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Poorly written, poorly directed, poorly acted, poorly filmed. Anything and everything. Smoke and Lightning. Christopher Atkins, which I remember from a movie called Shakma. Two Miami car mechanics borrow a luxury car for a night, unaware that it contains classified documents. An action film that gets a 2.9. Okay. Witchcraft 7. You know, sometimes I joke with my friends, like, I wonder who's going to be the person that's going to do the marathon of Witchcraft movies, because there's literally... For those who don't know about Witchcraft series, that might be the longest running horror movie series, like, of films, ever. Witchcraft. Witchcraft 2, The Temptress. Witchcraft 3, The Kiss of Death. Witchcraft 4, The Virgin Heart. Witchcraft 5, Dance with the Devil. Witchcraft 6, The Devil's Mistress. Witchcraft 7, Judgment Hour. Witchcraft 8, Salem's Ghost. Witchcraft 9, Bitter Flesh. Witchcraft 10, Mistress of the Craft. Witchcraft 11, Sisters in Blood. Witchcraft 12, In the Lair of the Serpent. Witchcraft 13, Blood of the Chosen. Witchcraft 14, Angel of Death. Witchcraft 15, Blood Rose. Witchcraft 16, Hollywood Coven. And 14, 15, 16 supposedly was released in 2016. Supposedly. I mean, then the 13... I mean, fuck. Friday the 13th, I think, is at 13. Wait, is it? 9, 10... No, it's at 12! It's at 12! Because you had 1 through 8 with Paramount, 9, 10 with New Line, 11 if you count Freddy vs. Jason, and 12 if you count the reboot. And by 2008, this had 13 movies. And it started in 1988. From 1988 to 2008, 13 movies. And then 14, 15, 16, maybe they're out. I don't know. That's what it says here. They're out. They're fucking... I mean, they're pretty much softcore porn horror movies. That's what they are. So I guess that's why they're so popular? If popular is the word? Softcore porn movies. Horror movies. There's at least 13, maybe 16 fucking movies. And no, I'm not doing a fucking marathon of Witchcraft. I would have to be fucking paid highly for that shit. To find and fucking suffer through possibly 16 fucking shitty looking softcore porn horror movies? Fuck that shit. I'm not doing that fucking bullshit. No fucking way. Fuck that shit. Assault, I mean, that gets a 2.9. Assault of the Party Nerds 2, The Heavy Petting Detective, which is a 2.9. Starring and directed by Richard Gabai. 5 years after throwing a killer party and stealing Muffin away from alpha male Zeta frat member Bud, head party nerd Richie is married to Muffin and runs a detective agency. Assault of the Party Nerds 2, The Heavy Petting Detective. Once again, this has a sequel? A part 2? Zombie Bloodbath 2? What the fuck is Zombie Bloodbath 1? Directed by some guy named Todd Sheets. Does he sheet the bed too? The Darkening. Alright, talking about Sheet. The Darkening. 2.9. The other films I mentioned, you have 2.9 as well. They don't even have a plot for The Darkening. And there's some cover for a DVD called Blackgate. Is that even the fucking same movie? Melinda Clark and Louise Fletcher from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest return to Two Moon Junction 3.0. New York fashion model returns to her hometown, Georgia, where she strikes up a lustful tryst with a handsome sculptor. To the Limit. This is one of those fucking movies where they have Anna Nicole Smith try to be an action star. I haven't seen To the Limit, but I've seen Skyscraper. I ranted on Skyscraper. That's one of PM Entertainment's worst fucking movies. And I liked quite a bit of PM Entertainment movies. If you know what PM Entertainment is, they made some pretty damn good ones. Last Man Standing with Jeff Wincott. I think they did Land of the Free with Jeff Speakman. If so, that's a really good one too. What was the other one? Executive Target, I think, with Michael Madsen and Roy Scheider. There's a few others. There's quite a few others. But To the Limit, yeah. Anna Nicole Smith and Joey Travolta, not John, Joey Travolta, in an action movie, and Nicole Smith as an attractive ex-CIA agent. I don't need to read more of the plot. That says it all. And then Nicole Smith as an ex-CIA agent. And I don't mean to speak ill will of the dead, but I don't think she was that attractive either. I'm not room to talk either, but I don't know. I'll take that back. I'll take that back. But ex-CIA agent? Fuck that. Project Shadow Chaser 3. I still haven't seen the other ones. I don't even know if they have a DVD. Project Shadow Chaser 1 or 2, let alone 3. I don't know if these films have DVDs. I think the first one, maybe the second one has... I know at least the first one has... What's his name? What is his name? I think I have a VHS of a movie he was in over here. Yeah. Martin Cove. Yeah, this is the VHS. Because I picked it up for cheap because I'm like, this is when I had a VCR and I'm like, what? I wonder what this movie's like. Really shitty, that's what it was like. So I think someone released that on Blu-ray or something. I'm like, why? But fucking whatever. Considering all the movies not on Blu-ray, that gets one. Could be wrong, but I think it did. I'm like, really? Glim in the Cube, or The Hitcher, the original April Fool's Day, the original Hitcher, Murder by Phone, Golden Child doesn't get a Blu-ray, but Steel of Justice does. But yeah, I haven't seen, but like he stars in the first one. Apparently, it's like Die Hard mixed in with this cyborg villain. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure what the second one's about. Little Lost Sea Serpent? The cover looks disturbing. Two people are on a summer vacation in California when they discover a baby sea serpent brought ashore by a violent storm. It's a comedy family film. Okay. Dracula? Oh, and maybe The Little Lost Sea Serpent gets a 3.0. Project Shadow Chaser 3 gets a 3.0. There's a fucking film called Leeches that has no plot and not even a fucking cast. Just has two directors. Dracula. Harry is a young Jewish scientist who lives with his overprotective and overbearing mother, Ida, who spends most of his time in his laboratory. What the fuck? This gets a 3.0. Dracula with an H. Hula. The fuck plot is this? Harry is a young Jewish scientist who lives with his overprotective and overbearing mother, Ida. He spends most of his time in his laboratory trying to isolate the guilt gene using live rats for his tests. When lab administration announces a major budget cut, he can no longer afford the number of rats he needs to continue his research. But Harry does not despair. He finds an agency that supplies rats from Transylvania at a very low price. When he is bitten by one of these specimens, his quiet life takes quite a radical turn. Henceforth, Harry undergoes a nightly transformation into Dracula, a vampire and Dracula. Drag. I got a fucking migraine now. A vampire and drag who roams the streets in search of fresh human blood. A vampire and drag from a young Jewish scientist. Gets a 3.0. I wonder why. Some film with Heather Graham called Terrified. And Lisa Zane, who I think was the star of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Heather Graham's? Traumatized after witnessing her jealous husband kill her adulterous lover and then himself, an unbalanced nympho young woman finds herself stalked by an unknown assailant, but she cannot make anyone believe her desperate situation. Gets a 3.1. Baby Ghost with Joe Estevez. Baby Ghost. A hacked photographer tries to help a group of people escape from a high-rise office building which is haunted by a mischief-making ghost. Why does this director sound familiar? Oh, Donald G. Jackson. He did Hell Comes to Frogtown. Okay. He also did all of these Rollerblade movies. Rollerblade, Rollerblade Warriors, Legend of Rollerblade 7, Return of the Rollerblade 7, Roller Gator. He must have a theme for rollers of any sort. Space Freaks, and that gets a 3.1. Space Freaks from Planet Mutoid? Not even a plot, just says 3.1. Deadly Run, which is a picture of a guy with his shirt off. Pointed a gun, those lights go to shoot his shoulder off. He's like, hold it like this. And when you don't shoot your shoulder off, you do that, man. Danny Fenley. Is that same guy, Danny Fenley? Who the fuck is Danny Fenley? Is that the same guy who's in the fucking... the action... Yeah, Danny Fenley. Who the fuck is Danny Fenley? Who the fuck is Danny Fenley? Guess that guy's Danny Fenley. Iron Eagle 4. Directed by Sidney J. Fury, who did the first Iron Eagle. I think the second one as well. I like the first Iron Eagle. It's the only good one. Louis Gossett Jr. returned for all 4 of those Iron Eagle movies. The thing about this one, they brought back the character, Doug Masters. That's the lead kid in the first movie. But they didn't bring back the actor. I don't know if they asked him and he said no, or what the deal was. But he was the lead in the first movie. In the second movie, he appeared for a teeny bit and then he dies. Gets shot down and dies. Which sucks because made the first movie... Oh yeah, we like this guy. Fuck him, he's dead. And then apparently it was something like he was in a POW. He was a POW and he escaped, or he was let go or something. I don't remember what the fuck. When Louis Gossett Jr. is saddled with a bunch of misfits and delinquents for his flight school, he turns to his protege, Doug Masters, to assist him in rounding them into shape for an important competition. During the training, they stumble upon a group of subversive U.S. Air Force officers who are dealing in toxic waste as a silent toxic waste. So is this also a crossover with Captain Planet? Or fucking Toxic Avenger? Maybe if you got the guy back and you had a fucking budget, maybe? I don't. You got the guy who played Doug Masters? Instead of this guy that you just called Doug Masters? I don't remember much of anything about the movie. And it gets a 3.3. I'm actually curious to see if there's any trivia on this movie. Is there any trivia on this fucking film? Iron Eagle 4. Yeah, the IV fits. Intravenous. Fucking franchise. Didn't need 4 movies. No, they ain't shit for fucking trivia. Nothing worth a crap. There's a Pocahontas movie called Pocahontas the Legend. Gets a 3.3 with Miles O'Keefe and Tony Goldwyn. Fuck. Ragin Angels. Two musicians are unknowingly drawn into a supernatural... What? Two musicians are unknowingly drawn into a supernatural steam, with Sean Patrick Flannery, Diane Ladd, and Michael Pare. 3.3 out of 10, and directed by Alan Smithy. So, in other words, the director took his fucking name off. Those are recognizable names. Michael Pare, he was in Streets of Fire, among many other films. Sean Patrick Flannery. I know he was in one of the Saw movies. He was on the Dead Zone TV show. He was in this pretty good Lou Diamond Phillips flick called Lone... I want to say Lone Wolf. He's probably most famous for being the two... He's one of the stars of the two Boondock Saints movies. I think that's where he's most famous from. I'm trying to think what the hell that one movie was called. It was called, I think, Lone Wolf. Oh yeah, of course. He was Indiana Jones and the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, the Indiana Jones TV show. That was Sean Patrick Flannery. Forgot about that. I always forget he had a tiny role in ICU with Stallone. What the fuck was that movie called? What fuck kind of sound came out of me? I think even my body, my lungs were excited and surprised more. He played Powder in that movie by the fucking pedophile Victor Selva. He was Powder? I didn't fucking realize he was Powder. Holy shit, he was Powder. Why is it not showing the other fucking movie he was in? I know he was in that movie with Lou Diamond Phillips. Lone Hero, there you go. 2002, Lone Hero. Lou Diamond Phillips. That's a good one. I forgot he was Powder in the movie called Powder. I forgot all about that. And Diane Ladd, I mean, I would say she's probably most famous for... Let me just double check real quick. I mean, she's been in fucking... She was in Chinatown, Wild at Heart, and if I remember correctly, Connoisseur. The reason that stuck in my mind because she's the mother of Laura Dern, who was in Jurassic Park. And then her mom, Diane Ladd, was in Connoisseur, the ripoff of Jurassic Park. Cyborg Cop 3. Never even seen the first one. Frank Zagarino gets a 3.3. Cop tries to stop a scientist's experiments to turn students into cyborg mercenaries. Well, thankfully, this told us it contains violence and strong language. Thank you. Thank you for that synopsis. I did not know that. This one called City Dragon looks goofy as fuck with the guys like in this pose, like literally, it's like someone kicking someone in the background. The shitty fire, two people kissing in the sky, and the guy's like, that's his pose, like, where are we going to dinner? That way. Fuck. That gets a 3.3. What's City Dragon about? Martial artist Ray should focus more on pregnant girlfriend Tina. However, many others are in the picture, including but not limited to Tina's ex-boyfriend, Ray's sexually discriminating boss lady, and two homies. That's the synopsis. Oh my god, I think I'm going to have to end it before my mind explodes. 3.3, some film called How to Slay a Vampire. There's a movie called The Crier that gets a 3.3. The Crier. Attack of the 60-Foot Centerfold, 3.4. Fred Olin Ray. Another appearance by Fred Olin Ray. Magazine Centerfold overdoses on a beauty enhancement drug and grows 60 feet tall. I am probably going to end it. Extra 3, that deserves it, 3.5. Marines travel to a deserted island to defuse bombs only to be terrorized by an alien. I remember being a waste of some of the cast, like Andrew Devoff, the Wishmaster himself, and Robert Culp. A waste of their talent. The ending fucking blew. I won't get into it. The Fear. I've heard of The Fear. It has a 3.4. I think my friend Mike saw it. I thought he said he liked it, but I can't remember. I want to do with this. Carnosaur 2. 3.4. Because 3.4, I disagree with that. Carnosaur 2 is a low-budget film, but I think it's an entertaining B-movie. It's much better than the first one. It doesn't have a shitty ending with Alfred E. Newman laughing, smiling at your fucking face while you have such a downbeat, glum, as fuck nihilistic ending. This one, they really did rip off Aliens, but with dinosaurs, and I'm fine with that for a low-budget movie. And Rick Dean, he's one of the actors. He would also come back for Carnosaur 3 in a different as a different character. I like that guy as a character actor. Cliff Deon, who I remember from films like the 80s movie Pulse. I think also was Joanna Man in this movie? Can't believe I can't remember his fucking name. I don't know why I remember Joanna Man. I don't even like Joanna Man. He was in Friday the 13th Part 5. He was in Return of the Living Dead. Miguel A. Nunez Jr. That's who, yeah. He's in this movie. It's a very low-budget film. It's a team of scientists go to a nuclear mining facility to investigate a possible meltdown. Instead, find a large amount of cloned dinosaurs. I think it's an entertaining film. It's the effects for the low budget they have. I think they're kind of charming because I appreciate they tried. I can see they tried. Just to make dinosaurs with a low budget is going to be hard. And the fact they tried for a practical route, I liked. There's a charm for me to it. And it's R-rated, and so you got some blood going. I wish you had a big budget movie with practical effects, or the effects of Jurassic Park style, that was R-rated and gory. You'll never get that, though. I wish someone would have the balls to do it. So Carnosaur 2 and 3 are the closest. I like those two sequels, Carnosaur 2 and 3. They're the closest you're going to get to an R-rated bloodbath, dinosaurs ripping people's heads off shit. And I like Carnosaur 2. It's directed by a guy named Louis Morneau. He did... He did The Hitcher 2 and Joyride 2. But he did do Bats with Lou Diamond Phillips. I actually like that movie. I don't think Bats was that bad of a movie. I know that has a low rating. I like Bats. All he did, Soldier Boys. That's actually I remember that being the worst Michael Dudikoff film I've seen. Yeah, Bats gets a 3.7 out of 10. I don't think it's that fucking bad of a movie, Bats. It's fast-paced, it's entertaining, it's 90 minutes long. Lou Diamond Phillips, Dina Meyer, Bob Grunton from The Shawshank Redemption, Leon from Cliffhanger. They do their jobs well. You have some nice practical effects by KMB. And the digital effects for 1999, it's there for a medium-sized budget movie or low-budget movie. It's a movie about killer bats. I think the best Killer Bats movie. I like bats. So I guess let's roll into here. Me defending a little bit of Carnosaur 2. I don't think it deserves a 3.4. The guy also did Bats. I don't think that deserves the 7. I think those are two fun B movies. The casts are decent. The effects for the budget they have have a charm and fun to them. And I'll take them over many of not just the low budget but the high budget horror films of today. And you don't get a lot of creature feature monster movies. If you do, 100% of them are CGI shitfest. No, not 100. That's going a little bit overboard. A good chunk of them, at least. I saw one called The Ritual. That was a pretty good monster movie at the end of the day. And that was 2017. So there's some out there. There's some gems out there. So I gotta take that back. But there's a lot more back in the day, in my opinion. Creature feature monster movies that were pretty fun. I miss that. So anyway, thanks for watching another episode of the IMDB Files. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.